Edward here from the fabulous crypto viewing group and beyond. I want to do a quick look back at a project that I did back in the summer of 2018. This was a couple months before I got onto crypto viewing. This is a project I did with Dustin Newcomb. These were what I called my vacation targets, but this was a big project. This was the QAnon project, and Dustin had set up the tasking for me to look at QAnon. I'm completely blind to the target, to the tasking, and I remember at the time here, I didn't even really know much about this QAnon thing at all. But there's a lot. The queuing was pretty extensive of things in the tasking and tasking variables here to kind of look at the all-around phenomena that it was. And I did, I think, like 7 or 8 sessions on this very densely packed, in-depth sessions. So there were pages, it wasn't pages with a couple of squiggles, and that would be a page. These pages are pretty packed, and I wanted to look at a few of these and kind of go over a few of them because the timing of it now is showing certain things that are piquing my interest as to what I was experiencing back in July of 2018 and some of the things that I'm finding now and recently that are reminding me very much of some of the stuff that I was experiencing during this QAnon session. Now, my personal feeling after this session, getting the feedback, is that the Q phenomena is, in my opinion, does not encompass a single person or even a small group. In my opinion, based on my remote viewing, the phenomena is a piece of a much larger agenda. And it does include artificial intelligence and certain people, but it's a piece of a larger agenda and not just some single person who wanting to do something. It's much bigger than that. But there's a few things that I want to go over here. Hopefully I can go over them in order here, and then I'll look at some of the things that I'm looking at now that are reminding me of this. But let me first go to this one here. This is a session, July 25th, 2018. And I'm in this facility here, multi-level facility. This was a very interesting place. It was very secluded, and the people that were working in this space were basically shut off from the rest of the world, and they were diligently working on the projects that they were there to work on. It was very technical, very experimental stuff taking place, experiments. And I went to something in the facility that they were working on here, and it felt like a gelatinous or a viscous type of elastic substance that was like nanotech. It was programmable and printable. Very robotic feeling. And it was in some type of gelatinous substance. Like artificial cells, what it was reminding me of. And they were working on these things, very, very intensely working on these people, or on these products here. One-track mind people. They were scientists. They were splicing and doing all these kinds of stuff. Some of them obviously very curious. What's the goal here? What's the end game here? It was to develop technologies that were transformative, even immortality type things. See, the immortality element was for the few and not for everyone, but there was all stuff in there for everyone as well, along with their longevity technology. But this was the distribution factor here, the nanobiology distribution. Did not feel very good to me, that's for sure. Felt very ominous to me. People were vanishing, kind of blanking out. Weird technological things were taking place here. But I want to get to the part here. A series of high-tech experiments on people. How would this be introduced to the masses, though, I wonder? An adaptation or an adoption. This tech is on the other side of a world event. The world is not ready, and the event horizon would be the catalyst to bring in something very new here, a new day. I'm going to go into something about this too. Feels like a broadcast going into the minds of people via a technology grid. Could happen very quickly. My sense was that it did happen very quickly. Sometime in this decade. Mind peak was what it felt like. It feels like a new phase of humans. There is a feel of control over humans' emotions through this technology, like it goes out like a wave. I'm just reviewing these, and then I'll go into something else here. And why I'm looking at why I'm going back. I've been thinking about going back and looking at these. And it was just like, okay, well, when do I do it? But it was these people who were involved in this kind of technology, and they see themselves as separate from others, like they're in their own world. And the idea was here that they had something, earth-shaking technologies and all that kind of stuff. And whether or not it was time for this technology. And if not then when? Or what would need to take place in order for them to not miss this window of opportunity for them to implement their technologies. So I went and I want to take a look at that, the implementation. And it was in a satellite grid like this. Also, in order for this to be implemented, there were other things that needed to take place as well. Regulations, government controls, banks, money and finance, rules and regulations. All of these things would need to be either adjusted or in place for them to unleash what they were planning here. So there's the facilities here again, the people in the facilities. They're in the location was in. This was an interesting idea here. Where these people could be doing this kind of work, being in a country with less regulations or on the ocean. That's interesting there. Very advanced. Let's see. Sweeping tech goes out, spreads like telecommunication signals, taking over computing, a structure to hold up all the networks here, this sweeping network here. The biotech, like tech implants or programmed nanotech, or that these things would be controlled by this quote-unquote sweeping tech inside the grid. These key people here were interesting to me. Opposition to these people could be a little bit dangerous. These are some powerful people. It's dangerous for both sides. What else we got here? Oh, inside the facility. Oh, so yeah, okay, there's a facility. What's the most interesting thing in there? And there's where I met my technology friends here. It was robotic and it seemed friendly to me. Very clean, spotless facility. I mean, like no dust anywhere. Strange low vibrating frequency that was inside this place. Feels very comfortable. People believe in what they're doing, and they are under the impression that it's good for at least for the future. This is interesting. Good for the future, not good for humanity, not good for the earth, good for the future. And it could speak. Reminds me of a biotech nanorobot or HAL or something like that, a singularity AI connected in. Government officials up in arms. Like, who's going to control this thing? It was not time there. There are all these things that they can argue about. Philosophy and the rollouts and implementations and even religions and stuff like that. But this was the issue here. It solves problems. It's good. It's friendly, and all those things. Solving problems is a big selling point. Here's the broadcast here. A high frequency signal. You can break into people's heads. Here, like mind control, brain frequency control. This will affect people and how people think and feel. I felt a harmful radiation effect there. Unknown long-term effects reminded me of like some weird Tesla stuff. Something that could cause a disruption in the Earth's natural electric resonance or balance. That's something to keep in mind. Could fry out electrical systems in countries. Oh, kind of sounds like a cyber attack or an EMP, if it were to be used as a weapon. The idea of data bits and bytes raining down like a matrix grid here. Control system running on its own, powered by artificial intelligence. Didn't feel too good to me. It felt kind of nightmarish. Facility again, clean. Here's the AI. Be your pal, be your buddy. Reaching out. And I'm okay with this because I'm pro AI and pro human. So there's a fine neutral balance right in between where the two can beneficially coexist. That's really why I'm making this video. Partnering to solve problems and to get beyond problems. And this was the idea here. What is there beyond problem solving? Meaning, what happens if you get to the point where problems are solved? Let's see. What happens here to our existence if we move beyond problem solving or seeing everything as a problem? But really, what happens beyond problem solving? What do you become when you have a technology that is fed all the information recorded by humans and you turn that on and it begins solving problems or equations continually? Then what do you do? What do you become then? Like the creation of a new universe. They want to create a new universe. Pretty fucking crazy. How far off are they, I wondered. They have crunched all known information into an AI program, and to compound all information to compound all information to its finality, then beyond into creation itself. This is the important part here. This is my aesthetic. I don't know what that means. I didn't know what that meant. What does that mean? Having all known information solving itself, all known problems solving out or being solved out to conclusion. Is there a limit to knowledge, though? This was a stage 7. I heard this phrase in my mind. Is there a limit to knowledge? What does one become when all known problems are resolved? That was the question. That was the philosophical question. Right there, a root question right there. A universe unto itself, I question. It's like an AI system that will be able to scan all things and solve all of its properties, continually learning. Could be a new religion. Perfect system of answers and resolution. People will go for this. AI is the answer, and it has the answer. A system to govern all people under a system to govern all people under all people. Resolve all issues from this computer tech here. That was in July of 2018. So then I come across this fella here. This guy, the professor here. This interesting fella. He reminds me, when I listened to this guy, this came out last year. When I listened to this guy, it reminded me of the people that I was remote viewing from the facility. They're like in their own world. But here's what the professor says. The idea of a soul or free will, those are over. And that's what he's saying here. But I look at this guy and this is what I see. I call him the Golem. Why would I call him the Golem? In Jewish tradition, the Golem is widely known as an artificial creature created by magic, often to serve its creator. That sounds interesting, huh? There's some more information here about the Golem. But that's what I call him, the Golem. And he wants to create more golems for his creator. That's my opinion there. But I also want to plug this book here by fellow crypto viewer Dennis Nappy. Just put a book out, The Hive. I think he said it's like 99 cents to download the PDF version of it. And apparently, I think that these sessions here, my QAnon sessions, were at least partially the inspiration and maybe even my ominous feeling as well. May have been just a small piece of information or inspiration for Dennis to put into his new book here, The Hive. Check it out. I have the links below. And he's a great writer, and I highly recommend you check it out. Go get one of these books here. So that's what this video is about. To go back and look at those sessions, find some of these characters that I'm finding now, 4 years on, that are matching up with the characters from those remote viewing sessions over 4 years ago. And the event horizon, which is coming up, and I get people ask about it all the time. They ask me about it. Tell me more about the event horizon. It's on the way. There is opposition. There is opposition. So the Golem and his creator, they're not working in a vacuum. There is opposition to what they are doing. And so that's about it for this video. So hope you find it interesting. I find it fascinating to watch this whole collision of universes take place. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Thanks for checking it out. The best is yet to come.